All right, Will. So, what inspired you to start your digital agency, and what challenges did you face in the initial stage?
Yeah, so I would say what inspired me is seeing how a Fortune 500 company, Thomson Reuters, ran a boutique agency that, did half a billion a year in revenue. And then looking at their processes and their actual deliverables and seeing where they really fell short and knowing there was a better way to do it and realizing that in the best interest of the kinds of clients we serve in legal, it would almost be a disservice not to go out and make something more boutique happen for better results for people that are really trying to be the dominant players is one hand. So the creativity behind building a business, the results that come from it, all of those things. On the other hand, personally, with my kind of personal philosophy, um, with the concept of work-life balance, I'm an older millennial, so I still believe in designing a life. You got a lot of solopreneurs on LinkedIn and some of these guys that talk about remote work. And
Yep.
there's really no limit nowadays with how you can create a world for yourself and for your employees that allows you to live into some of those ideals with focus
Yeah.
on family, focus on time. How can you buy your time back and have really total freedom while earning exponentially more income than you did working for a company as a W-2 employee? So there was kind of two sides to that were really intriguing that were good for me. And I'd say the last thing, Dennis, for my confidence in doing so was my sales
Mhm.
background. I was and have been in professional sales since college, actually.
Yeah.
Used to sell advertising spots in our student newspaper at University of Kansas when I was in college. Um, and if you can bring in revenue and sell and provide real value for companies, I think entrepreneurs are in a good spot. So I had a lot of confidence in that as well.
Wow. I have like 8 questions I want to ask as a follow up to that. But let's start here. When you first got going, as all of us do, you don't have any reputation, you don't have any clients, and you see Thomson Reuters as a $1 billion company, super well known. How do you overcome that?
Well, I'll tell you a story that actually is slightly different answer than you might expect, which is not it's not anything to do with legal, which is where you alluded with Thomson Reuters, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to violate a non-compete, and I was also trying to make sure my family didn't live in a cardboard box. I had two daughters at the time, still do, of course, but young daughters, and uh, overcoming anything from nothing. When you try to bootstrap something and have some kind of proof that you know what the heck you're doing on your own, the way that happened for me, I actually was with med spas doing a lot of med spa SEO instead of the
Yeah.
legal stuff because I just couldn't violate the non-compete. And I got that one client, the one person you convinced to say yes. They were a local med spa, and I had somebody that I knew that worked there, and I just was very intentional about getting introduced and
Hmm.
went there in person and just they saw my passion and my local presence and what I was
Mm.
willing to do for them, and I did it really pretty cheaply. And
Hmm.
that was my case study. The one, and I told them like, "Hey guys, I have
Yeah.
as much writing on this than anything you'll ever see because if this doesn't work, I can't leverage this for other kinds of med spas in different markets, et cetera." So you have to understand, and I made it very clear to them, this has to work not only for you in a good return on your investment in time, but also for me for those reasons. So they sort of trusted me, put the chips on the table towards me, and that's how I got it going. Now, when I pivoted back into legal, once my
Uh-huh.
non-compete was over, the $1 billion machine, so to speak, with all the process and the staffing and all of that,
Yeah.
it's actually really easy if you just put yourself in the shoes of your clients and understand really what their options are. I mean, you've got the big national players, Scorpion, iLawyer Marketing.
Hmm.
There's a whole bunch I could name. It doesn't really
Right.
matter, but all of those
Right.
players that have sort of these cookie cutter approaches. And
Mm.
then where's your value proposition? Where's your differentiators? And if you can articulate those really clearly and to make it a no brainer, um, hey, do you want somebody only in legal? Yes. Do you want somebody that has a smaller team that's more agile and can do things creatively? Yes. Do you want to do what every other competitor is doing, mediocrity or in a mediocre way? Or do you want to
Hmm.
try to do something that pushes the envelope a little bit to kind of get ahead of the competition? If you're saying yes to those things, you're a good fit for us. And I learned to say no to a lot of really bad business that wasn't a good fit. And if you share that mindset as a potential
Yep.
client, you're
Yep.
probably going to bet on us again. So that's kind of my approach.
Yeah. Incredible. So the pivot from med spa to legal, yet there's got to be a lot of overlap because of local businesses, local service ads, ranking in maps, SEO? How much overlap is there, and how much did you learn from that first client?
There's quite a bit of overlap. I mean, when push comes to shove in terms of the deliverables, but here's what I figured out is with like the med spas, I was saying yes to doing almost anything. We were doing Facebook marketing and social media and marketing automation implementation and taking third-party softwares and plugging it in, lead
Mm,
management.
mm,
And that doesn't even talk about the SEO, the content, the paid ad, and all of that. So we were sort of this. I was real proud about it. Like, hey, I'm this omni-channel marketer. You can all the channels we can do. That's not scalable, and that gets you in the weeds. You can't really be a real true expert. And so I pivoted away from that and really niched down both in industry and service to kind of get that to be scalable. But I think I'm diverging from your original question.
No,
But
that's you actually going exactly to the big point I wanted to make. You're like 3 steps ahead of me,
okay.
which shows that you know what you're talking about. Because what I want other agencies that are under $10 million a year to understand is that you have to start with one service for one vertical. So SEO for law firms,
So true.
because most of the agencies that are, say, like under 20,000 a month, they suffer from, I'm going to offer everything to everyone, because they think, well, why not? I got to pay the bills. You said you didn't want to be living in a cardboard box. You have a family, you have bills to pay. There's pressure. And so what most people in your situation do is they say, I'll take anyone that comes. A chiropractor comes, a lawn care company comes. This guy wants SEO. They want Facebook ads. They want, they have a special CRM. Then pretty soon you have your hands in everything, and you're not really, and the first two or three deals you have are custom, right? Because you
Mhm.
want to be service oriented. So you try to do everything for everybody. But as you said, Will, you can't scale because every
Mhm.
one of those is so unique, and every customer has a different set of needs. If you allow them to order whatever they want, you're going to be capped out at a few clients. Lead docket, what the cost per call is for PI, or what intake looks like. All the things that are specific to that industry, and you've got example after example after example. So any other attorney can come in and say, I know what Growth Lab SEO does.
Yeah,
But
it's
help
solving a
help
very
other folks
specific
understand
problem.
who are not, because I know, well, you and I, we know a bunch of agencies that are 7 figures plus, meaning $83,000 a month or more. And most of them understand what you said about just saying no, where you really focus on one service to one niche until you're over 7 figures, or ideally 8 figures, and then you can have another agency. So
Yeah.
help other folks who didn't do what you do understand that it's counterintuitive, but you have to focus down, even though they want to say yes to everything. Is like, here's a real estate agent. Okay, yes, I'll say yes to that. Right?
Oh
How,
my
how do
God.
they get out
It's
of
the
that? They don't know
key.
how to choose a niche. They
Yeah.
they just think like, well, if I just say yes to everyone, I can make, I need to do that because I need the money.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I said yes to a lot. I mean, that is the key. I mean, of all of this stuff is to get good at that one thing and go.
Yeah.
And I don't know why so many people struggle. So I mean, I get it. I did the same thing and then I kind of quickly realized, but I think people hang their hat on that. I mean, I even have local colleagues in Kansas City where I'm at that have, our C-level at 40, 50 employee,
Yeah.
offices, and they're digital and they do everything for everybody, and they're stuck at, not saying 7 million a year in
Hmm.
revenue's bad, but it's like you guys gotta, and they're not adapting, they're not bringing on technology, they're just in this weird cycle of let's make sure people stay and don't go other
Yeah.
place. It's just like spinning their wheels,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, you can't do that.
So I see another move, Will,
Mhm.
where, as you know, in the last few years, salespeople have really started coming into selling digital marketing. And thus, this has flooded the market, depending what market you're in, with lots of people that want to live the laptop lifestyle, that believe if they use the magic latest AI tool, that they can start an agency and just live on autopilot, and they don't really themselves know anything. They just practice Dan Hendry's script on, can you use another 10 clients this month, or whatever it is. You can spot these people a mile away, right? They're out there selling, 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 because they think that using a couple tools and maybe using a white label execution, the white label agency firm will automatically solve everything. What do you say to people that do that?
Yeah, it's tough because it's so prevalent. What I would really want to say to people that do that is that I mean, my heart and my gut is really like it's a disservice to the market and the people you're serving. You have, we talk about the niche. You have to know the industry you want to work in, but you have to know
Yeah.
your customers' customers and the nuances. And I actually have a scheduled LinkedIn post about, it's interesting, all of this stuff that's going out tomorrow morning about niching down and understanding
Mm, mm,
the individual audiences within even a certain industry or consumer group that have certain search behaviors. I mean, this
mhm.
stuff is so nuanced. And so when
But
I
but
go up
I'm a
against,
salesperson and I don't understand WordPress or all this technical stuff. I'm just going to farm it out to these other people on Upwork or whatever, right?
yeah,
Because I'm all about the relationships. I don't have time to learn all that technical stuff. How to optimize ads, performance max on Google. What is all that?
yeah, it's attractive to have only strategic partnerships, if you want to call them that, even in place, and just essentially sort of be the kingpin behind this weird, vague sea of overseas people and white label stuff. I just don't think that's sustainable. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to have a little bit of income and live that digital nomad life, sure. But for me as an entrepreneur, that's not what excites me. I mean, I
Hmm.
did mention work-life balance, but
Hmm.
that's just one piece of it. There,
Hmm.
my whole team, if you were to ask them like what drives you, why do you work at Growth Lab or with Will? It's because and it kind of is implied in our name, Growth Lab. We're always experimenting. We're all entrepreneurial. We're
Hmm.
wanting to be the best uh, at results, and it's more exciting to be able to bring everything in house, be have control over the quality, control over the output, be able to take your clients' feedback and actually make changes in real time with emerging technologies and AI and search and
Hmm.
Google, you name it.
Hmm.
It's just much more fulfilling. I think as things evolve, people are going to be. Well, I don't know. We'll see if businesses become more aware that that's happening.
You've
It's
built a
going to be tough.
reputation in legal. A
Yeah.
lot of people know who you are. Whether you're large or small, it's your name that's on the line. Whether you farm it out to VAs or white label companies or AI tools or whatever, it's still your name because people are trusting you. And in the last week, I've been seeing your face in ads for Vendasta
Oh, yeah.
all over. Like this young, fresh face Will, and now like the seasoned Will. And it showed like it's like a before and after weight loss, except it's like the agency transformation. So, given all that we've said about trusting your brand and trusting execution to other people that are involved, not just white label, how then did you start working with Vendasta?
That's a great question. So Vendasta came on, and I was looking for a way to look and feel like $100 million agency in terms of process, of automation. And then even as some of the things with people like Vendasta have adapted with billing and invoicing and proposal building and all these
Mm,
in different pieces, which is pretty cool how they've evolved with
mm,
me. Um, that was key for me. And so that's kind of how I got hooked in. And in all fairness, when I started trying some of their different partnerships and vendors in their sort of SaaS marketplace, a lot of them
yeah,
are great. Not everything is going to match what you do. And there's a whole spectrum
yeah.
of, as an agency, if you want to sell the widgets of agencies and your clients spend $300 to $500 a month and you do some local SEO or listings and all that,
Hmm.
yeah, could you scale that? Like some of the companies we see and have 1,000 clients paying $300 a month, sure. But again, that's not, I think that's viable as long as there's
Hmm.
results behind it.
Hmm.
That's just not where we are. We're looking at more of the custom stuff. So really with something like Vendasta, we're kind of a weird case study, I think. We're kind of maybe a little bit opposite of what they're trying to normally attract, whereas they're saying, hey, come resell all these SaaS
Hmm.
marketing tools. It's easier this way. We're actually using them as literally the rhubarb or the rebarb in our foundation as like the glue around process, automation, client follow-up, client CRM, billing and invoicing. I mean, the whole nine yards
Yeah.
where we run and operate like $100 million enterprise. I firmly believe that, even though we're still in our third year of business with Vendasta. So
Will, we use Vendasta the same way in our agencies.
you do?
So,
Okay. You see
because,
what I'm saying then?
yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly blunt with Brendan and Dale and George when he was there, and I was there with Vendasta before they started. I was friends with them, and I've always given it to them straight. And even though this is content that we're producing on Vendasta's blog and social media, I tell them, when you guys first rolled out the marketplace, you guys had some vendors in there that sucked, that did white label PPC, SEO, WordPress, like the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And when you rolled out your project management tool initially for the first year, it was terrible. And in your snapshot report, there's some things there where it doesn't capture the right data or it scores too negatively. And so they've improved. Just like, Facebook rolls out new products, they suck initially, but I've believed in Vendasta because they have the good people and they have actually invested from a technology standpoint instead of just like a bunch of salespeople. So I've given it to them straight, and other agency friends of mine, I give it to them straight about what is the process that we use for onboarding, for getting access, for building clients, for project management, for having fine things like reputation management and listings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the real meat of it is the stuff that we believe in, like doing SEO and PPC and things that allow you to charge $5,000, $10,000 a month to a client instead of $500 a month. So I'm with you
Yeah.
on that. I think a lot of agencies are like that, where they're subbing out certain structural components that they don't want to have to build themselves, especially if those platforms have an implied process, which makes it smoother for onboarding and billing and things like why would I want to build my own version of that? There's no value add or differentiation there, right?
No, totally. That's yeah. We use it for the same. And here's what I love about Brendan and those guys. They say they care about customer feedback and they mean it. I mean, I have
Yeah.
never worked with a company that has solicited my feedback, taken it, and literally I watched these things. And I'm
Mhm.
patient. I've been with them. I've probably been with them for 5 years.
Okay.
It's been a while, and I have several different like account things with them and
Yeah.
and all that, and they care and they've evolved, and every time they do, like they've done recently with some of their stuff,
Yeah.
my team knows about it, and we're all jacked up about it and excited. So
Yeah.
I got to
And
give them a ton of credit.
and every company will say they care. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yesterday I was on a call with the sales team from Vendasta and other folks that we're going to meet in Vegas for Traffic and Conversion Summit. And I just couldn't help myself. I started unloading on them on all the things I think they needed to fix and their approach on trying to get people to come in and use the Vendasta platform. It was a very sales oriented approach. And I said, it's exactly what you were saying earlier, which is what this is like the bug on my mind on if we really want to help agencies, give them the. I mean, yes, Vendasta has all these tools, and you can be a sales money making machine and all that. And there's the names the other people they're competing against, which whatever. I'm not going to name them, but focus on one niche and do the one thing.
Yeah,
Like do PPC or for like lawn care companies, or for like whatever for veterinarians, build WordPress sites, like whatever the thing is. And when you help them do that, then you can make recommendations. You can show them how the snapshot report and other pieces fit into helping that agency by actually scoring prospects for them, showing
yeah,
how to generate proposals and all that. And I just unloaded at them because their sales approach, because they have the big wheel, or they're renting the big wheel, like 4 pods and that big wheel thing, and food and sweatshirts and all these things are giving away. And I said, all the other vendors are doing that. You look like salespeople. And in the
mm,
middle of that, Will, I said, and by the way, Chris or Brendan or Dale, if you're listening, send me an email with the keyword rabbit in it. And when I checked my email this morning, I had an email from their CTO, Dale Hopkins, saying, "Good morning, Dennis Rabbit."
oh no way, I love it.
Yeah. And like, wow, someone actually reviewed the meeting notes. And then maybe they were using some AI tool that sent them the meeting summary, or maybe they actually sat and watched the Zoom recording,
Yeah,
which
I
I
mean, there
find
you
so
go.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
so
And
awesome. Yeah, and that's why I stuck with them, and I promote them. People ask me all the time, and
yeah,
I shoot them straight. I'm like, I don't use it like they traditionally envision their clients using it, and I
yeah,
think their shift in thinking has been really positive for them. So
yeah. The thing is, I love talking about Vendasta because of the people behind it. And I'll tell this to other agency friends of mine. Well, what about Vendasta versus all these other ones? And this is not meant to be kind of a sales pitch or anything like that. But they'll say, like, do you have an affiliate link? I'm like, I probably do, but I'm not doing it for a commission.
me either.
I
Yeah.
only share from what I actually use
Yeah, I
and,
know.
and
That's
do
why your
myself.
authenticity, I know, attracts a lot of people, which is why I was excited to talk to you. But yeah, same here. I've never seen an affiliate link.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's at least a dozen companies. In fact, I literally yesterday got an email from a guy who talked to me about using Vendasta, asked me if they should do it. I heard what they're trying to build, and I gave him my just straightforward recommendation. He's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we joined Vendasta now, trying to create an advisory board to do what's next." And I'm like, "Go kill it." So it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it just works.
Yeah. during when COVID first happened, I was with Ryan Dice and we taught the very last full day workshop at their headquarters at Digital Marketer. And the very next day, the state of Texas shut down basically everything, right? So we literally got that thing in. And Ryan said, you know what? Because of, we want to help digital marketers and agencies, and there's this struggle going on. We're going to make all our stuff free for now, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And then that inspired me. And I said, you know what? We should do the same thing for our materials. So we made all our stuff free. And I had a conversation with Brendan King, and we started the Conquer Local Academy. And I said, let's just make it free. And so we
Mm.
made it free to all these agencies. And so thousands of agencies came in to our training, and we taught them everything that we know, everything that I know. I've started multiple seven-figure agencies. We got a lot of friends that have seven-figure agencies. And these guys also, just like you, are not trying to hold the secrets. Like, here it is, right? I've talked to the clients, like Glenn
So
Vo, who's a lighthouse and dentist, right? He's a successful dentist, but he's got 40,000 dentists that follow him. Roger Wakefield, he's a plumber, but he's such a successful plumber. He sold his company for $45 million. And now he's got 1 million subs on YouTube and TikTok and whatever. And anyone who's a plumber will know who this guy is. So
yeah.
we interviewed all these different people to be able to help agencies understand, here's what you need to do. We interviewed other platform providers, like interviewed, how to John Jonas or Atiba on, how to hire VAs. We had the whole thing because it was an outline of 37 chapters we recorded. It's all on YouTube on here's exactly what you need to do to be successful as an agency. It's what I would have wanted to know to avoid all the problems that like you and I
Mm.
know about. Yet most agencies, when they went through that, they didn't follow the directions, and they didn't want to choose a niche. They didn't want to learn and like your growth lab SEO. They didn't have that experimental like mind of curiosity. They didn't know how to hire people, and it just really disappointed me. What advice do you have for these agencies that they're struggling, even though all the information's out there? They can clearly see what you are doing. They can see what all of our friends are doing. What is holding people back?
I think what's holding, that's a great question because it's frustrating when you articulate it that way. I think they need to pause for a minute. I think you got to slow down to speed up sometimes and really figure out their why. Like
Yeah.
what's the why? I mean, are they seeing LinkedIn creators blow up and they're trying to like get attention and the attention economy? I mean, what's your real reason for doing this? And does your actions as an agency align with that? Maybe there's something else you should be doing that aligns with your why. And if your why is like yours and I's, which is I enjoy helping my clients. I see what our work does for them. They just opened their fifth location. They got out of the
Mm-hmm.
trenches. They put process in place.
Mm-hmm.
My clients have a work-life balance because of what we've done. And they have a
Yeah.
system in place, which is really exciting. This sounds cheesy. I mean, I just got chills thinking about it because I just can think about the conversations I've had with attorneys that are like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, I'm out of the trenches, Will. We've put staff in place. We have a system that brings leads in. There's
Yeah.
predictable revenue. We see
Yeah.
how we can scale to from 6 to 9 million in 2024." And like,
Yeah.
if that's involved with your why, then you probably need to rethink it and just figure that out and go from there. That's really the only thing I can think of because
I
otherwise I don't
agree.
know. I just don't share that mentality.
I I think that your why hits the nail on the head, because with an authentic why that ties back to it shows in your client results, of course. It shows in how you share thought leadership and what you know. Your LinkedIn blog post is going to be scheduled for tomorrow. You can't fake that over time. And so in your niche, lawyers trust you for that. And there's no magic secret about that. You're not doing it to try to make the quick buck and have a Lamborghini. And
Right. And a
all of
lot of
us,
them,
we have families and obligations where we have to pay our bills, but that's not our why. Because everyone wants to pay their bills. Oh, I need to make money. You should hire me because I need to make. Well, you know what? I need to make money too.
yeah,
And
that's not the
there's
right.
someone in the industry who probably, and he claims to be the number one expert in law firm SEO. And he
Mhm.
charged my friend Daryl Isaacs, who is perhaps the best known attorney, best known person in the state of Kentucky, charged him $70,000 a month for SEO. And when I logged in to WordPress and when I logged into Ahrefs and these other tools to audit the SEO, All I saw happening was 200 auto-generated week blog posts made per month that were just on glossary terms, like
Uh,
how to get a commercial truck driver's license. And so he claimed victory because now they're ranking on several thousand truck driving related terms, but they're not people who got into an accident or hit by a truck. It's people that are trying to understand like how long does it take to become a truck driver? How much money can I make as a truck driver? And this personal injury attorney, he says he doesn't know anything about SEO. He's going to hire this guy who appears to be the best, and this guy was charging him $70,000 a month. I looked into Google Analytics and I saw the SEO traffic from all this. How do you get a CDL, or what is a reefer flatbed, or how many feet long is this kind? What is a refrigerated truck? Like all these things, like glossary. He built it. You can go to the
yeah,
site today. I think it's
programmatic
still there.
SEO basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw all that. And, if, you know, obviously ChatGPT can generate these sorts of things better actually than what he did. So I saw, yes, there were all the rankings. Ta-da, victory in SEO.
Mhm.
I saw all the traffic that was coming in from all over not from Kentucky, which is where they have clients, but just all over the US, like people that want to learn how to drive a truck, right? And then I looked in the analytics to see conversion. I looked in the lead docket to see how many cases. There were no phone calls, there were no cases. There was none of, obviously, because those are not, there was no intent there
Right.
of someone
Zero
who
intent.
got injured in an
Correct.
accident and needed to talk to a personal injury attorney.
Yeah.
And I'm sure law firms are all afraid, and any kind of local service business, they're all afraid that these SEO people are selling them a mound of garbage. And
They usually are. Most
yeah.
even, yeah, reputation.
And almost everyone I've taught, they come to me. I don't go out there soliciting, hey, let's hop on a call, a discovery
Yeah.
call, so I can try. No, they come to me because they're in an emergency. This guy came to me yesterday. He's a plumbing HVAC company, and he told me, I don't even need to tell you his name because you already know the situation thousands of times. I got burned by my last three agencies. And so now they talk to you. How do you engender trust by saying, oh, I'm not like those other guys. I'm real. I do real SEO. What do you say to these people? And because you feel for them, you know they got
You
burned. Like
do. Oh my God, you
Roger
do.
Wakefield and I went live. I flew to visit him in Dallas. He's the best known plumber out there among all. Ask any plumber who's Roger Wakefield. And Roger, when he was poor, before he became successful, and they were living paycheck to paycheck, he paid all his money to this first agency, and then that failed. But he hustled and just did a really good job as a plumber, so his rankings went up just in maps and just because of doing good work. But his last three agencies, he spent $47,000 hiring SEO, PPC, website building. Like, these guys did nothing.
Mhm.
That's the thing that's
Crazy.
in the back of the mind of all these potential clients. Like, I'm talking to Will Palmer. I wonder if he's going to be like these other three people that I
Oh,
hired.
for sure. They all think it, and they should. I mean, I would.
So,
I'd
so then
be
what, how do
very
you,
cautious.
what's your advice to other agencies on how do you show that you're the good guy? You're not like this law firm SEO expert guru, know everything. It's a magic secret, can't tell you anything kind of thing.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, there's a lot there, honestly. I mean, on one hand, you can't, I sort of feel like you can't fake some of that authenticity, but I think a lot of people can. There's a lot of shysters out there. It's
Yeah,
the
but how
best
do
way
you
to
know?
say it.
Like, I'm just a plumber. How do I know? Right?
I
You
think,
sound just like the other guy.
yeah, well, here's what I do. I mean, first of all, out of the gate, I am vetting my clients as much as they're vetting me, and I'm pretty honest about that, because I acknowledge that fact and kind of what I call squash that grenade out of the gate. I acknowledge that marketers often have a bad reputation and where that sort of is and in the why behind it. I acknowledge it and say, kind of like when you asked me, Will, why did you start your agency? I
Yeah.
tell them my why.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's my why. What's your, I mean, I ask what your why is, but then I think also when you're willing to kind of like what you just said, Dennis, you're willing to give before you receive. And let's say
Mm,
a client has been burned in the past, I can open up their analytics or Search Console or Google
mhm.
Ads, and we can look and show them exactly why it's not working, and then give
Yeah.
them an alternative as to what would you do differently, and prove to me you've done it differently for
Mhm.
others and that it's worked. There has to be a real like delta difference between right and wrong that you can communicate to these guys, because you can't fake the data when you pull it up in real time. And I'm not sharing, contacts and personal
Mhm.
stuff. I'm just
Mhm.
showing here's the strategy, here's the playbook that we've proven works, and here's how we're evolving it. Uh, if you want to talk to some of our clients, I'm happy to, you know what I mean? Like I'm an open
Yeah.
book, man.
They all
Like
know each other
do your due
anyway.
diligence. I
Yeah.
encourage it. I say,
Yeah.
find reasons not to work with me. Tell me what those questions are, concerns are. If they're valid, I'll point you in a direction that's maybe a better fit. I will tell them that out of the gate. If we're not the
Yeah.
best fit for what you need, I know probably who is. I'll help you that way. So I'm always giving and earning trust by putting what's best for them, even if I make $0 off of those transactions.
Will,
And
I
they know
love
that
what you
from me.
said. That's awesome. I consider folks like you and me as like doctors in the emergency room. When someone
Yep.
comes in the emergency room, they're bleeding, car accident, I don't know, broke their collarbone skiing, something happened, right? Cut their finger while they're in the kitchen. And doctor, help me, I'm in pain. Okay. First, we're going to take an x-ray. First, we're going to get some blood. We're going to get some of the vitals, and we're going to then be able to analyze. Well, looking at the x-ray here, it looks like you have a broken bone, so we're going to now do some surgery or something, right? And thus, they can make that recommendation because it's based on the data. And you will take a prospect and look at their analytics and Search Console and Google Ads and why are they not getting phone calls for LSA, or why are they not ranking on this keyword, or why do they have this traffic drop, or what's going on with the website migration, or you have the expertise to be able to look at the data and, as you said, provide value because you can actually troubleshoot the thing. But
Real time.
most, hate to put people in like the stereotypical box, most salespeople, they don't have the expertise where they can actually look at, not like using Search Console is hard to do, right? But they can't do that
Yep.
because they rely upon Mohammed in Pakistan or this
Yep.
other agency or whatnot. How then do people overcome this? Because to provide value, whether they become a client or not, you have to have enough expertise. But doesn't that break the model, the traditional agency model of their account managers who are basically salespeople, kind of, and then there's people in the back that do fulfillment?
It does. I mean, that's one of the things we do differently. Our account managers, we call SEO strategists, are yes, account managers. They're trying to provide a concierge level service to make people feel like their needs are met. But at the
Yeah,
same time, they're executing and building themselves a strategy, a roadmap, an SEO
yeah,
roadmap for 12 months. And that's just where we look at and understand where can we differentiate from everybody else so that we can produce results that are not common. We're not the cheapest out there either, right? So we're
mhm,
trying to build value based on
yeah,
expertise. People are willing to pay double what they pay elsewhere because we're not full of the BS. And
yeah,
I mean, here's the other thing too. I don't know if I work well with lawyers because I just have a very low threshold for BS. In fact, I have zero. I have a BS meter I feel is very accurate. If I sense it from somebody, I'll call them out on it in a
yeah,
professional way. And I'll tell people, like, I don't have time to sugarcoat and BS my way through this because that doesn't match my why and all of that. Right.
yeah.
So, and going
And
back to
lawyers
like
are
having to
direct.
be,
They appreciate that.
you
Lawyers
have
are
to
super
be.
impatient. So that's why they love you.
And I'll turn down clients. Like I said, sometimes you have to learn through sort of fire by baptism or whatever the saying is and make these mistakes first. But we turn down, I don't know if it's a lot of business, but enough where I can talk about it, where maybe you have a firm that needs more of a holistic integrated strategy with video and social and maybe email and maybe more PR related stuff that just actually makes more sense to have it integrated with SEO and paid ads and some of the other things we do. And they will beg us to work with them. Can't you just do? I can't. I won't. I can do this, but I can't do this. My team isn't built for it.
Yeah,
And if I try to fit a square peg in a round hole, you're going to get subpar results from us. You're not going to get results as good as you would go to these people over here. So if you're trying to figure out how to be knowledgeable, like you said, if you're niching down into a specific industry and solving a specific problem and maybe doing only SEO or even paid ads or even just
mm,
content, like my other company does content for car dealerships only.
mm,
We only do
mm,
content. We only do it for car dealerships.
mm, mm.
Um, do I have a big history of understanding car dealerships? Have I ever worked at one? None of that. But I've immersed myself with people that understand that world and spent hundreds of hours understanding all of that I can speak to it. So if you're that specific with what you offer, you can intelligently figure out why is this content different or better than anything else anybody else offers and
Yeah,
articulate that to clients. Just put in the work.
yeah.
Do your
And you have
homework.
the experience doing that same thing over and over and over and over
I've
again,
done
even
it.
though
Yeah,
you're not
just
a
like
car
you.
dealer or a lawyer.
Yeah, med spas, lawyers, I mean, car dealerships. Yeah. So go, go earn your ticket. You have to earn what I call the ticket to get in, which is like somebody's trust or somebody's vulnerability back at you. Like go earn it. If you think it's as easy as being a LinkedIn influencer and renting a Ferrari to drive around to take, I mean, that world exists and people have made seven figures with that stuff. But again, is that fulfilling to you? Let's pause long enough to think about it. Probably not.
And then you have people that refund, you can't deliver results, they cancel after 90 days. And then you say,
Mhm.
oh, but SEO takes time and Google changes their algorithm all the time. It's just an unhappy place to be because there's no lifetime value and there's no relationship building.
Yeah.
And we're in it for the long game, which goes back to our why.
Yeah. And that's why, again, I don't mean to go a bunch of different directions, but people ask me about like contract lengths. Do you have term lengths? And like, oh, if it really worked, can't you do short term or month to month? And I'm like, honestly, like I said, as much as you're vetting us, we're vetting you. And we need to know that people understand the value of long-term goals tied to long-term or longer-term SEO commitments. And how does SEO as a long-term strategy fit into your whole business and marketing system? So like there's a lot of nuances there that you pick up. But again, it's easy to pick up when you start and are laser focused,
Hmm.
which I feel like is
Hmm.
the biggest takeaway here.
That for sure is the biggest takeaway. I'm going to create 5 or 6 different hooks around what's the mistake that prevents people from scaling to 7 figures.
Yeah.
And it's by saying no. And then the second part on saying no is that you say no to clients that aren't a fit. And there's 5 or 6 things that you mentioned that most agencies who are not at 7 figures plus will say, well, why would you limit yourself? Well, why wouldn't you also do TikTok ads? Why wouldn't you also do it for, pest control companies? Why wouldn't you also allow a full range of pricing for like 15 different packages? Because then you become Walmart, right?
Mhm.
Why wouldn't you? And you do all these things that to most agencies look like you are hurting and limiting you're putting yourself in a straitjacket. When
Yeah.
really what you're doing is you're creating this laser focus and this power laser beam that's so bright that in that one little thing, SEO for lawyers, these lawyers all know they all talk to each other. Everyone talks to each other in that niche. They all know who you
100%.
are, right? So
And
when
you
you
think
make
of
that
this,
LinkedIn post and people click like, or even if they don't, because lawyers often they'll just look at it, but they don't want to click on it. They
yeah.
absolutely notice that. I'm sure that, right? When
Oh,
you publish thought leadership, how often when you talk to a new client, do they say, I've been seeing your stuff? How often is they've never heard of you versus they've seen stuff from you?
yeah, I'd say more often than you'd think if you aren't doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
when I was selling for Thomson Reuters in Kansas City locally, so it wasn't really virtual much, but in fact, I think I do. Here's an example of my thought leadership back in like 2017, 2018. I had like my Kansas City solo and small firm
Yeah.
marketing guide. I just printed this myself. And you can see it covers a whole bunch of stuff. And,
Yeah.
I
That's
would leave
nice.
this out. I would drop this in offices, door to door, right?
Yeah.
And good fit clients. And I would come back sometimes like, dude, 6 months, 12 months later, a year later, and they will have had this out and they
Yeah.
would have a certain page and they had written all over this thing. And they're like, I already know what you're about. I already know what questions
Yeah.
I have. In fact, I already kind of trust you. I just needed to kind of get me over these hurdles. Happened all the time. Same thing with
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Like it's happens. So
Yeah.
anyway.
So we know in agency land that not everything is perfect, like all these other people on the internet make it seem. And just like entrepreneurship in general, there's all these unexpected ups and downs and challenges. What were some of the challenges that you faced in scaling your agency?
So there at different points in the agency, there's different challenges. It's always a challenge to find and hire rock stars. I mean, with any company in any industry,
Yeah.
especially with remote. So along those lines is building a remote culture and what are you doing as a leader to really get everybody rowing in the same direction when you're not in a physical office. That's been hard.
Hmm.
I invest a lot of money in people that know how to do that though. So when I'm not the expert, I'm bringing in like I work with a guy, Travis Brown, who's I coined him the culture coach. I'm like, that should be your deal, dude. Cause you're like, if you've seen like the show Billions, Wendy, who's like the team psychiatrist or whatever, where they align the culture, like he's that for us. So I figure out who knows how to do that and bring them in. So that's been tough. And then even going back to like staying true to what you do and not going too wide in
Hmm.
being an expert in no areas. I have salespeople that say, why aren't Will, we got to start doing social. And I have to be true to what I know
Hmm.
is going to scale and say no to a lot of things. And so, um, I think the problems just continue to sort of evolve, and it's a matter of how you face them every day. And that's part of the fun part of being an entrepreneur. There's a lot of creativity involved with it, and I think people assume. I just have to throw this out there because it's really I'm passionate about it. That you have to work 80 hours a week and you have to give up your life and you have to trap yourself in your office and like just it's not true. And I can tell you right now, if you're intentional enough and you have a vision of how you want to build this thing and how you can delegate and how you can problem solve, I mean, this business can be a rudder for your whole life and really navigate you in
Hmm.
any direction you want with the world of cloud computing and AI
Mm.
and SaaS. Like you can do whatever you want. You just got to do it. Just forget status quo. Like what everyone else is doing, just do usually the opposite of that. So
Amen. Because you laser
yeah,
focused on one thing. So all these other people that try to do everything, that's why they're working 80 hours a week because they have to master every little change from Google and Facebook. And here's these other AI tools. And and then they're doing it for every single industry and building contacts. You're just swimming upstream. It's
yeah.
difficult.
I mean, there's a couple colleagues in the space I respect a whole lot. They do legal marketing. They're very similar to us. They have similar backgrounds. We talk because we
Yeah.
we also believe that
Yeah.
we can grow and learn from each other. And they just surpassed 10 million and they just created their first org chart. They've been in business 2 years longer than us, so I think
Hmm.
5 years. They just created an org chart for the first time and made it work. So my approach is a little bit different. It's probably slow down to speed up, maybe to a fault at times, but I think just going back to the work-life balance and the
Mm.
intentionality behind how you can grow things. I just want people to realize that they don't have to sacrifice everything. And I think that's a misconception that's thrown out there like a badge of honor. Like, hey, yeah, if you want
Yeah.
this stuff to work, you got to just sacrifice it all. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So
And the people that are saying that are usually selling an info product versus actually having the proof in their actual business to be able to substantiate that like you do.
yeah, so
Super awesome.
it's been
Are
fun.
there other things that you want to tell agency owners, things that are on your mind, advice that you have?
I just ask for help, be vulnerable, just be a constant learner and student. And if you're constantly learning and constantly putting yourself out there, despite the mistakes you make, you're going to learn and you're going to grow and it's going to be a fun ride and just enjoy the process. So, I would say be vulnerable, put yourself out there, ask for help and continue learning and you're going to make it.
Yeah. Are you afraid of SEO tools replacing all these SEO experts because they can generate content so much better, faster,
Not at
whatnot?
all. No, I see all that all the time. No, we're here. It's happening. Embrace it. I firmly believe people that aren't like we integrated AI when Jasper and Jarvis and all that before ChatGPT. I mean, we were all over it, and I think it's fine to be concerned, but SEO will look very different in 24 months from now. Evolve. And that's the thing. Like our growth lab mantra, and we're pushing the envelope. You have to evolve your services. And then you can tell a prospect, hey, Mr.
Mm.
Attorney, here's what we do with content differently, which is why we had
Mm.
that AI Pioneer Award with Vendasta. When I submitted our case study with what we do with AI, it's because we're taking that stuff in and we're making it work. Doesn't mean we just spam a bunch of crap programmatic SEO content on sites like your 70K a month guy perhaps did or whatever.
He
It
got
just
fired.
means you're
Yeah.
leveraging it. And that's what my post is about tomorrow as well, which you'll read. So you need to leverage it and you need to not be scared of it. It's here. It's not going anywhere.
So you're a real SEO grounded practitioner. I won't say expert or guru because I hate that. So where is SEO going to be in 24 months?
I think my prediction, and this is very generalized and sweeping, but I think as these technologies evolve, take even like the technical aspects of SEO on a site, and you think of like Auto GPT, and I'm no expert, right? Like I'm not the guy that knows Python and all this stuff.
Right.
But if you think of how AI can problem solve in real time, or that's coming of age. I think there's going to be scripts and things within WordPress or plugins that essentially handle the technical side of SEO
Yep.
automatically.
Yep.
That as an example.
Yeah.
And you're taking that component and it's automated. How do you quality check it and make sure? But that's an
Yeah.
example of what I think is going
Yeah.
to happen.
Already Rank Math, Link Whisper, all these guys have AI driven recommendations and content creation. Mike Roberts, who built SpyFu, you may have seen a new tool that he just launched. We were the first ones to get access to it, and it's called Rival Flow. And it looks at your site versus where other people are outranking you, and it says the questions. It basically is like generating PAA and then answering the PAA.
Yeah, I love that. We use a bunch of those kinds of tools as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
incredible.
Surfer SEO uses
Yep.
GrowFlow, I think is what they called it, and their integration with AI. I mean, I was shocked a lot more the marketing SaaS companies didn't just fall flat I thought when ChatGPT came, Jarvis and Jasper and some of those guys would just die, but I'm
Well, they
impressed with
raised their
how
money
integrated.
right before ChatGPT came out. Dave was
Yeah,
so lucky, and he raised
I
like
was
300
shocked.
million
Like
bucks. Yeah.
they're killing it. So yeah, that
I
is our
still get my affiliate check from them every month.
yeah, nice. Yeah, and like high level, I used a million years ago, and they just started. I think I was one of their first like several hundred views. I mean, like all
Yeah.
this stuff. You gotta love it, and you can be a
Yeah.
practitioner of it and constantly learn.
Yeah.
I'm an internet nerd at heart, Dennis, just like you. So like we gotta embrace that nerdiness and go full
Well,
send on that. So
I really enjoyed spending time with you, Will. I love geeking out with people
yeah,
who know their stuff and are willing to share their secrets.
yeah. Well, I
And
appreciate you having me on and here
I'm
anytime.
excited to chop up these pieces into little articles and snippets. You know, we apply this content factory method because you were just gold nugget after gold nugget.